Another day is here, and you're ready for it. What to wear? Check. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner? Check. Planning for what's next and how to save for it? That's where Bank of America can help. For your financial to-dos, Bank of America has experts ready to help get you closer to your goals. Get started at one of our local financial centers or 24/7 in our mobile banking app. Find a location near you at bankofamerica.com/talktous. What would you like the power to do? Mobile banking requires downloading the app and is only available for select devices. Message and data rates may apply. Bank of America N.A., member FDIC.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. With the price of just about everything going up during inflation, we thought we'd bring our prices down. So to help us, we brought in a reverse auctioneer, which is apparently a thing.
Mint Mobile Unlimited Premium Wireless. How to get 30, 30, bit to get 30, bit to get 20, 20, 20, bit to get 20, 20, bit to get 15, 15, 15, 15, just $15 a month? Sold!
Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 up front for 3 months plus taxes and fees. Promo rate for new customers for limited time. Unlimited more than 40 gigabytes per month. Slows full terms at mintmobile.com.
Now's the time to save 30% on wedding jewelry, only on BlueNile.com. Make sure your wedding ring is the one with your pick of diamond and lab-grown diamond bands, all hand-finished and graded for excellence. Or surprise her with something blue she'll love for life, like a stunning pair of sapphire earrings. Blue Nile's jewelry experts are available 24/7 to help, from fit questions to style advice. Right now, get up to 30% off at BlueNile.com. BlueNile.com.
Thanks for choosing this free Anfield Index podcast. If you'd prefer to listen to this or any of our other shows without adverts, then now's the time to check out Anfield Index Pro. With AI Pro, you can supercharge your entire listening experience. You'll not only get all of our podcasts without the ads, but you'll have them far faster with our Quick Publish feature available exclusively for subscribers. AI Pro also puts you in the heart of our sound studio, with an option to listen to many of our shows live and interact with the podcasters in real time as the shows are recording. Upgrading couldn't be easier. AI Pro is available on all popular podcast platforms. Just head on over to AnfieldIndexPro.com and get started today.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, and welcome to episode number 4 of Transfer Market Metrics. It's a weird one, isn't it, ladies and gents? You've got PSR clubs doing deals between them. You've got links galore. You've got Liverpool pushing, really pushing. And according to Fabrizio Romano yesterday, really, really, really pushing. And that was exactly what he said on one of his podcasts for Lenny Yoro. We've mentioned him before. But this week, ladies and gents, we are talking left-footed links. So, here as ever to run the numbers, run the stats, make the verdict with me as ever is Bart. Bart, he's quiet, mate, a little bit for Liverpool, isn't it, at the moment?
Yeah, I couldn't even say it was posturing. I don't think it is. It's a bit, yeah. I don't like the lack of stories coming out down. Oh, we're not investing this, even though we've scouted all these players. We're now saying we don't want one of these. That seems a bit odd. But, it's really quiet. It's quiet.
Yeah, let's just hope there's some sort of Michael Hughes Machiavellian subplot of thought and something will break soon.
I mean, to be fair, though, there ain't that many of our squad left that could actually be doing anything. Do you know what I mean? It's like, Bradders is what he's doing. There's just hardly any players that are not on holiday or doing anything. So, in terms of outs, we can't do any of that unless we're actually going to sell Mo Salah, but even he's going to the Olympics, isn't he? So you sort of, I would say it is quiet, but maybe that's an indication of the caliber of player we want to bring in as well, because then the player that we want to bring in is also involved in the tournament. And as we know, things are shut down now. You ain't getting access to players now.
That sounds better than what I was thinking in my head, so we'll go with that. We'll hope it's that. We'll hope something is going to break soon. But as you know, ladies and gents, we only talk players where there's been a story, there's been discussions, there's been something we can get stuck into that way. So we said to you, left-footed links. And funnily enough, we're going to start with almost the hybrid. That's the word of the window maybe for us, Bart's that feel. There's a lot of links, despite what Ian Doyle has said recently, for left-footed defenders. And it's important I phrase it that way, Bart, as you know, because it seems to be these players that can play left back and centre back on the left side. That's the right phrase, isn't it? A left-footed defender rather than a specialist. hybrid nature. That's probably right to say, isn't it?
Yeah, City have got Ake playing there, that kind of plan.
Yeah, absolutely. And unfortunately, Gvardiol isn't on the market anymore. So let's look at the link. So we'll start with one that's, I'm not sure we want to get our teeth stuck into this, but we'll do what we ever do, people. So Bart, William Pacho, 22 years old, Ecuadorian, left-footed defender from Eintracht Frankfurt. A lot of links to this sort of at the end of last season, and then sort of ramped up a little bit in the window. Seems to have gone quiet. I mean, interesting price quotes of 50 to 60 million euros in a lot of the articles when you see it. A contract that expires in 2028. He's not one that sort of stands out for a lot of people, but it is a story that almost keeps popping up. So we've got to explore this. And as ever, we'll run the numbers on Pacho. I wonder if your numbers are going to tell me something different than my lack of excitement that's going round for this kid.
I'm not sure I can do that, but now you said the price point, I'm probably that's changed my mood quite a lot, to be honest with you. As we always do, we were looking at his comparison with other centre backs over the last year or so. We're looking at a defender here. Where do I start? Okay, so tackles, he's 78th percentile. Interception blocks appearances, he's in and around the 80th percentile. The key one that we talk about for a defender in a Liverpool side, and also the Premier League, if you're going to win the league, is aerials, and he's in the 29th percentile for aerials, which that's per 90 1.64, which is it's not great. I'm not going to wrap that up for you.
Yeah,
and considering we want that hybrid approach, so we do need to see a little bit on the ball with him, right? I mean, his best passes completed, okay. That's 84%. That's the 79th percentile, not too bad. Progressive 79th percentile, so that indicates that he's making direct off vertical passes with success. Yeah, okay, fair enough. Carries, no, so he's not a Matip style. 54th percentile, so that's not what Matip would do. Take-ons, 81st percentile. Not sure I want my centre half doing that, but anyway, there you go. Touches in the penalty box and progressive passes received obviously would be lower for a defender. If we look at what then you're doing in the shot creating actions and that kind of bit, he's got a 93% percentile for assists. So this is against centre back, so that gives you a little bit of indication of the sample. Non-penalty XG and XA, which is the goals and assists expected, is in 51% percentile. So even for a centre half, he's in the lower end of that, should we say. But look at the typical dashboards I do. He is involved, three. Yeah, so he does operate in that sort of left-hand side of the defence for Frankfurt. Is it Frankfurt?
Yeah.
Yeah. In terms of what does he give up? I mean, he's passing. He's probably pass every 2 minutes, so not too bad. More involved than some of the other players we've seen. In terms of what is he conceding, so in that sort of 4 areas around him, I did a game against Munich, beside Germany. Yeah, I know Leverkusen won it this year, but generally speaking, that's pretty good mastic. So I mean, his 4 boxes around his position for this game, he gave away about 18% of Bayern's EPV. So it's quite a lot. To be honest with you. And you compare him to, his centre half partner gave up. I mean, they won this game as well. They won this game 5-1. So that's quite a lot of EPV to give up against the team that you're beating. So yeah, I know a few things, and the worrying thing for me as well, whereas his opposite number, he might have given up similar in front of him. Should we say there's nothing behind? There's like 1% behind. Whereas Alad here, Pacho, is also giving out 4% behind. So in the hot zone we don't want a player to get into, he's giving out 4%. So yeah, there's a few little things where it would concern me, should we say? I'm sort of a bit short about whether to, in terms of the Wagon when I do, he's bang on average for all of the stats for that defensive unit, which might tell you a little bit about Frankfurt's approach. But yeah, this for me feels like a link that's been around for a while, and is one of those that a break glass. We need to get someone in. He ain't that, it's sort of a third, fourth choice on our list, should we say? Can he do the job? Probably. Are the key stats where we want them to be? No. His dual success is 60%, 60%. That's aerial and ground. And that's not ideal. I would. It's not. He's on the ball. He's a lot better than a lot of his counterparts. Let's be fair about that. He makes a lot of passes. That's great. So there are some elements where you think, okay, that's pretty decent. He has about 10-15% of his team's on ball time. So yeah, that's a good amount. But it's just, is he if he's going to play predominantly a left defender, because the idea, I think, a lot of the discussion is about giving Trent this freedom or more, right? Then I think I'd probably want a bit more security about his actual defending, if I'm being honest with you.
Yeah, it kind of feels like, we tried to be positive, and we appreciate people know when it's going to employ me and Bars now as Pacho's agent to advertise him in this manner whatsoever. And you look at it and think, obviously, over 130 senior appearances. We've talked about sample size parts, and Frankfurt, Antwerp, he's come from Ecuador, so he's got a decent sample size. But, let's be honest, I said that at the start, the links are for around 50 to 60 million euros. And I actually thought you were going to actually end the call right there and then. He's not in this price point for you at all, is he?
It's not. This is a pick him up for a real low-end deal, end of a contract, 2030. If we're paying 50, 60 million pounds for this player, I'm like, what? I do not understand that at all. Considering the price point of some of the other players that we've seen linked in this market, or even one of the latter players we're coming over to, I don't think it'll be that much more than that. Yeah. And he's an infinitely better player. So, yeah.
Yeah. So, long story short, people, see that name, Pacho? Just put a big fat red line for it for us. I don't think there's any other way of describing it. But left-footed defenders, the hybrids, whatever you want to call them, there is some we've got to explore, and I think it gets more interesting for us. And I might be pronouncing this wrong, but as people will probably know him, Piero Hincapie, Barts, another Ecuador, another left-footed centre-back, or can play left-back at Leverkusen. Everyone knows how Leverkusen have done this season. Contract till 2027. Price point that we always talk about, Barts, a lot of the articles have got him around 42 to 45 million. That's the price point there are a lot suggesting, which probably interests us that it's lower than a lot of the quotes mentioned for Pacho. I don't know why that is for a player that's in a team that's won the league, but hey-ho, you go off the reports. That's what we're working off, facts that way. This one, before we get into him, because I feel like we destroyed people's happiness with Pacho. So let's try and bring Hincapie on with a little bit of happier music. So we'll say this, and this was a quote from Patrick, a regular Discord viewer, about Hincapie. Super versatile as a defender, left-footed, plays in the different zones of the pitches, like left centre-back, left-back, left wing-back, an aggressive defender who's good in duels. Profile perfectly suited to a third centre-back or a hybrid left centre-back or a left-back role. He can also be lined up as a traditional left-back on paper. He can do things like stay back and form a back three, be wide, overlap, underlap. Basically, Bart, I think Patrick is angling to be Hincapie's agent. Can we match that happier music, having sort of ended it low with Pacho at all?
I don't need a VPN. I've got nothing to hide. This is what I used to tell myself before I hooked up with LibertyShield.com. Not only is my home internet now fully encrypted, but I can now access all the websites I want, whenever I want, and do so from absolutely anywhere. As a Liverpool fan, I love to know I can now watch every match, regardless of whether it's on UK TV or not. My Liberty Shield VPN makes sure nothing is blocked and guarantees me super fast streaming speed throughout that match. You can get connected right now with their software package, which includes a 48-hour no-obligation free trial and instant access to their apps for Apple, Android, Fire TV, PC, Mac and Android TV. Or go a step further like I have and get one of their pre-configured VPN routers. These small but powerful devices allow you to easily connect every device in your home to VPN, making it the perfect solution for smart TVs, Mac boxes, and games consoles. Visit libertyshield.com today and use coupon code AIVPN25 to get 25% off at checkout.
I think, again, style what we always do, looking at his comparison with players. If anyone knows the side, if the bar's green, it's a lot better. Pacho's had a lot of grey or red on it, right? So straight away in Hincapie is in all green. So if you look at his defensive, his tackles are in 87th percentile, which is higher than Pacho's was. Interception blocks and clearances are fairly low, with clearances in the bottom 10 percentile, which is not what you want, but.
This episode is brought to you by Shopify. Whether you're selling a little or a lot, Shopify helps you do your thing, however you cha-ching. From the launch your online shop stage, all the way to the we just hit 1 million orders stage. No matter what stage you're in, Shopify's there to help you grow. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/special offer, all lowercase. That's shopify.com/special offer.
When you need mealtime inspiration, it's worth shopping Kroger, where you'll find over 30,000 mouth-watering choices that excite your inner foodie. And no matter what tasty choice you make, you'll enjoy our everyday low prices, plus extra ways to save, like digital coupons worth over $600 each week. You can also save up to $1 off per gallon at the pump with fuel points. More savings and more inspiring flavors make shopping Kroger worth it every time. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
Some of these are indication of the style of play the team are in. We said the same about Frankfurt. There might be a slight different side. Yeah. His areas are about the same. So we're going to criticise one, we've got to criticise the other, okay? So he's a 47 percentile. This isn't a strong point. I think actually he's about the same percentage. 1.9 per 90. I think Pacho is 1.8. So they're in and around the same area. And this is where is his starting position defensively as a left back? And or he comes in to play as a 3, or is it right? And that's where that might not be as a bigger issue. And we probably should be comparing him to left backs for that aerial rate, which I can do another more. But if you look at his attacking, I mean, we're all in the greens here. We're in 90th or mid 80s percentile. Progressive carries, which is something you do want your fullback to be able to do. He's in 90th percentile. Touches, progressive passes, 99, 95th percentile. This is versus other defenders, right, centre back, so there's a bit of carrot there, but that's still way better than the Pacho. Yeah. Right? He's still got the progressive passes, so he's still making those verticals, 85th percentile. Pass completion, 79 percentile, so that's about 89% generally, which per 90, which is decent. In terms of turning that into an actual threat or a goal-scoring opportunity or action, non-penalty XG plus XA, he's 96th percentile for a defender. So I'm not as high on him maybe as Patrick, but I am. I would be, and for that price point you said about 45 mil. Yeah, this seems like a good buy on that. If we look at where he's taken up his positions, he's a lot further forward than Pacho, and that's probably an indication of the more attacking threat he has, and also the way Leverkusen play. So he's more in the sort of the middle strip of the pitch. If you, as long as we divide the pitch sort of by 5 from top to bottom, across it we generally go by 8. He's in the middle, but he's generally in the middle bit on the on-ball stuff. Okay, passes less than Pacho, but that's not. It's in clumps, so he's. Whereas the Pacho was sort of 1s or 2s, he'd have to be, I can't get his name right now. He's actually in bunches of 5s, so he's having a lot of passes in short succession, which again generally suggests he's potentially doing that attacking up there, he's receiving more passing his way up and making a thing. So I think there's some more promising signs with this, if I'm being honest. I'm looking at his wagon wheel in this game. He's above average for a lot of the possession-based metrics and bang on for his defensive. So, again, I'll take that. This is the game against Bayern Munich again. They won 3-0 this game, so not a bad analysis you'd expect. Okay, fair enough. In terms of where he is defensively, he concedes, I think I said Pacho was about 18-20% tonight. He's in and around the 14 mark for EPB conversion, but importantly, he hasn't allowed anything in the hot zone behind him.
Wow.
That's against Bayern Munich. He's playing against, is Sano on the right for them? I can't remember. I think probably wherever it is still with Bayern. So that's I would suggest that's decent. Does the right side defender do better than him in some areas? Yes. So, but he's probably more defensive one. So that's looks a better performance for me in terms of preventing players getting into a really key area, which is that hot zone to pull back into the areas. It's a key tactic that we like to do as a team, and opposition do. So our other lad let sort of the 94% in that area. He's not letting anywhere near that in there. So that's a good thing for me. XG, generally regular play. He's not involved in anything else. And whereas previously Pacho didn't register any shots, he registered like 2 shots in this game, which is, again, for somebody who's playing a hybrid left side, not bad. So I would overall, this one kind of, this feels like a number 2. I could get on looking at this and listening to some of the scout reports and listening to people that I respect on that kind of a blah. Darth's very hot on this guy as well. In the UP, the AI committee, transfer committee. So I get my words out. He was high on the list there. So I think I could see why we would be targeting this type of player, and I think that would make a lot of sense, particularly if we get him for that 40-45 million.
Yeah, especially like you say, that's a big feather in his cap that no one gets in that hot zone area for him as well. 40-45 million. Look at it. The only thing, and it's one of those where I can't say it's a red flag because that's too extreme and we don't know enough. The only thing that interests me with this is he has the same agent as Moises Caicedo. And let's just say we weren't exactly best friends with Moises Caicedo's agent last summer. However, new people completely in charge now of the club, as we know. Michael Edwards, Richard Hughes might have a sterling relationship with him or work well. But so interesting. There's a lot to like, and I'm similar to you as you're saying it. The experience is there. I mean, we're going to see them both, we think, in the Copa America. And Pacho didn't play the other night, but interestingly, Hincapie did. Played left back and scored actually for Ecuador in their last friendly before that. So I'll be interested to see, do they get a chance to shine?
I think the only area that on both of them that is a concern is aerials, right? And that's just because if we're asking them to play a bit more of a back three, that's a problem. But everything else, I completely agree with that. I think Hincapie is probably the way, the one I would probably go for.
Yeah, and speaking of the one we go for, we've got to talk about this one because there's been links and they've been there last summer, and maybe there's an argument that Levi Colwill used them to get a new contract, Bart, but the links are still there and they're still talking. And there's a lot of talk around this player. I mean, his contract now, it runs for 2030. People say it's 2029, but the club have another year and they'll quite happily use that, won't they? No doubt. 21-year-old Bart. England international, didn't make the Euros, which might work well for us. I don't know. Chelsea, God, I wish their financial problems were a bit worse. They couldn't have sold the hotel back to themselves because that may be making a difference. But we watched Colwill. We talked about him before. There's a lot to like about this kid if it's doable, isn't there? Let's be honest.
Hugely. I mean, he's also, if anyone knows the site, F3 for starter again, he has 2 profiles, whereas the others have only got a centre-back profile. This guy's got a full-back and a centre-back profile, which gives you the level of minutes he's played at those kind of things. I mean, it's just, Colwill's going for, so if you look at his defensive metrics, whereas the others, they were kind of all right to worst, right? Aerial was key one to keep being banging on about. He's in 65th percentile, which again isn't brilliant, but still that's 2.51 per 90. I'll just look at his actual ones per. So he's at about 68% overall average a season. Put that per 90. So he's dropped off a little bit. He was doing about 3.1 previous, winning that game. He's now down to about 2. So yeah, but again, we said that quite a lot. The style of play is different. Yeah, it's Chelsea, different kind of things. So he's played a lot of left back, so that would have affected it. But so that's good. Tackles, interceptions, blocks. So tackles and interceptions is in the 90th or 70th percentile, and the blocks is in the 61st, which is better than the other two, right? So defensively, already his stats are pretty decent. In terms of what he does on the ball as a centre half, so progressive passes received, unusual, 95th percentile. Touches in the attacking box, 88th percentile. Take-ons, 90. Progressive carries, 85th percentile. Progressive passes, 59 percentile. Pass completion a little bit low, but 83%, but he's in the lowest. He's in a low percentile for centre halves because generally they just give the ball pass left and right? So that's not, that's a little bit weird. Passes attempted is low for a centre half, only about 58 per 90. So that would increase, but that's starter play. That'll be whatever it's about. If you've got Endo and Caicedo in front of you, you just want to get a ball and then they'll dictate the game. That is going to influence how much ball your centre halves have. That's just a fact. Whereas for us, we don't really have that. Van Dijk gets the ball and Van Dijk largely dictates it, and then he gives it to Trent, and they dictate it from the back. We didn't really have that engine in the midfield that says, "Go on, and I'll give that, and I'll dictate." So there's a difference in style of play affecting that. If we look at him versus fullbacks, defensively, his metrics go straight. He's actually in the 96th percentile for errors one as a fullback.
Wow,
which is good. That's 2.51. So that's still better than the other two when they were playing centre half, right?
Yeah.
Interceptions, blocks, tackles are all in the green defensively for fullback. So this kid can legitimately play at fullback and defender. Against other fullbacks, though, his progressive carries, tackles, touches, all those kind of elements are lower. Some of them are in the bottom 10% percentiles, but his passes attempts, his passes completions are in the mid 70s. Again, not bad. It's not brilliant. His goal involvement, though, as a fullback is less. He's not better XG and XA. He's 45th percentile, so 0.13 a game, whereas actually a percent and a half. That's really high because that percent halves don't do a lot but as a fullback, that's low. So I think that the plus is Colwill. I think he clearly is a better player. He can play both positions legitimately well, whereas the other one that we're talking about, they can't play one, but it's like a high to another one. Whereas I think Colwill, you can legitimately say you're playing left back today, and it wouldn't be a problem. Whereas the other two, I think, can play there, but it's not as comfortable, and they haven't got the minutes there. Otherwise, they would have a profile on here. And in terms of what does he do, he's passing. So he will pick the ball up in more central left areas because Chelsea playing largely as centre half in a lot of games, so that's where he is. In terms of where his EPV, what did he give away? So the boxes around him. He's down at around 12% EPV given away, which is a notch down from the other guys we've looked at. Very good. So yeah, I just look at it, XG, no England got anything, and he registered one shot in the game when it was involved, so it was in the box. So I think he gives away less threat, or he deals with that threat better, and there's hardly any threat. There's only about 1% allowed behind him. So, again, the reduction in threat allowed behind him and what is in front of him, what he's dealing with, are lower ends. He profiles in terms of per 90s for a fullback and a centre-half at a very good level in one and good in another, and better, I think, as a combination against the other two. So, I don't know what the price point is. That's probably one that Chelsea could probably name at the moment because they're not desperate to sell anymore. But, he does seem a bit of a unicorn that I would potentially go and buy.
Yeah, there's a lot to like. I know he's Sam Maguire's choice. He's written about him well. It's funny enough, even you say, like, we've got the two profiles. Even just transfer market at a glance, those customer-facing stats, like you say, they've got him 32 appearances and 16 in each, 16 at left back, 16. You literally were talking about a player that can play those two positions. Absolutely crazy in that regard. I know his aerial, like you say, his aerial duel's a bit of a dip down from how he was at Brighton. But I think when you look at, as you say, we should run the stats, we should be factual. Chelsea have alternated between a back three and a back four, and he's played all the positions practically on that left side. So it's hard to give an outright profile for him and say, well, what are you measuring him against? Because you're asking him to do a bit of everything. The hope we've got, Rats, because we talked price point and everything like that, as we both saw, we were like nudging each other to have a read and stuff. There's a lot of suggestions that he wants to talk to Enzo Maresca again, like what's his position going to be with Tosin coming in. A lot of the articles are suggesting, and it's important to say because a price point is so hard with this kid, but funnily enough, you can only take what we see, and three of them have a price point of 68 million. Whether someone's plucked that from the air, I don't know, but that is the price point in three articles we're reading. If 68 million will get it done, let's be honest, Bars, from what you've told us about the lack of threat in his area, what he can give, the different positions, we know he's quick anyway. We slap 68 million on the table right now if we could get that done, wouldn't we?
I'd slap 70 down. I really would. I'd just get it done. I'd just walk in there and be like, what do you want? I'm not saying pay that all up front, not that at all. That could just too much. But yeah, if he's available for that 70, let's be honest here, 65, 70 million pound price mark, yeah, I'd get that done tomorrow.
Yeah.
He's not at the Euros, is he? The Euros haven't got that wrong.
No, didn't make the Euro squad either as well. So, yeah, the funny thing is, it's not long till the 30th of June, is it, ladies and gentlemen, which we know might be a key date for it. So you'd love to see something break. But me and Bart's are also realistic of this. We've seen the stories. We like the stories. Are we confident on this? I don't think either of us would bet a penny this would happen necessarily, but we'd love it to have some sort of traction behind it. And there has been journalists, it's important to say, Bart's, that are mentioning him at the same time, and those stories from Liverpool are still there. And it's always good to summarise. We're being honest now. We're saying Colwill clear first. Yeah. Hincapie solid second, a good on the list we suspect. Pacho, it's easy to say third, but we'd probably just put a red line to his name for us, wouldn't we? I think that's fair.
Yeah, that's probably my order, yeah.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see. And, well, before everyone starts screaming about Calafiore and all that type of thing, we can only analyse so many people at a time, and we will see what comes up. There might even be a Transfer Market Metrics episode 5. Let's see what's in there. And the final left forward will go a bit different, Bars, because everyone's thinking, or probably was thinking, they're going to talk Calafiore. But a player that talked in France, L'Équipe, gave his interview to say he is looking to make the next step. His words, as translated apparently, making the next step to a bigger club, because at Brentford, Brian Mbuemo's been a star, but he apparently wants to make the next step, and as he said, to a Champions League club, at which point L'Équipe and a few other articles have named our interest specifically. Now, Bar's an interesting one. Contract till 2027. It's important to say that because people are going to say 2026, but Brentford have a year, and we know Brentford are savvy operators in this market, so you might as well just say 2027. So there's nothing short term. That's in their favour. Had a few injuries last season, it's important to say as well, but we'll do the profiling. Brian Mbuemo, there's a lot of people say, and I'm trying to get into this with you because you'll know it better than anyone, I think. He could be a Michael Edwards style signing for Liverpool. Can you put the logic and the stats against that statement when we run the numbers?
Can, in some degree. Okay, so we start at the top. He's got two profiles, right? He's profiled as a forward and he's profiled as an attacking mid-winger, right? So that's just an important point. But he's got experiences here and here. As an attacking mid-winger, for me, he profiles better against his peers. So he has more of the non-penalty goals, non-penalty XG, XA in the sort of mid-80 bars. Non-penalty XG XA is 0.56 per 90, 85th percentile. And then that's against those similar kind of players, right? So that's good. Shot curated actions, all right, so he's not accurate. That's 50th percentile. Not so great. assist at 9th percentile. So whereas a forward that, again, they stack up in this system that he's in the 89th, 87th percentile, right? So there's some good stuff there. Shot creating actions is in 90th percentile. In terms of his passing as a forward, he's in the 90th. He's in four of the major ones are in the 90th or plus percentiles. Progressive passes, progressive carries, progressive passes received. They're all at over 90 percentiles, which is good.
Hey guys, it's Eddie Gibbs from Anfield Index here. I hope you're enjoying this podcast, and I'm sorry to call time on the show before it ends. In the current climate, it's tougher than ever before to offer podcasts for free. At Anfield Index, we produce over 75 free shows every month, which I'm confident is unparalleled in the LFC sphere. Whilst we'd love to offer everything for free, the production costs now make this impossible. That said, we don't want to follow the model of other channels and lock all of our content behind a paywall. So what we've decided to do is to continue offering every show for free, but cut that offering to 30 minutes on our longer shows. So to get all of our shows in full and enjoy the best of everything we have to offer, we really hope you'll consider supporting the channel and signing up at AnfieldIndexPro.com. For about the price of 1 cup of coffee, you'll get every podcast in full with 0 ads. You'll also get access to our LFC VIP community, where you can enjoy live podcasts, engage with our podcasters, and chat with other Reds in real time. So that website again, AnfieldIndexPro.com. Join today.
Sports Social Podcast Network.